Good afternoon, welcome to the final day of EGX 2014, and thank you so much for joining us here in the developer sessions. I'm Martin from Eurogamer, and I am here to introduce you to Dominic Matthews from Ninja Theory even, who's going to be showing you Hellblade, so please, a round of applause.
Hi, thanks a lot for coming today. So I'm Dominic Matthews from Team Ninja, and I'm going to be talking to you about Ninja Gaiden. No, I'm not. I'm from Ninja Theory, so I'm going to be talking to you about Hellblade and our independent AAA approach to developing the game. So first off, a little bit of history about Ninja Theory. We were founded in the year 2000 by 3 co-founders. We've got a studio up in Cambridge, and we're about 100 people in size. And the studio is one that is mid-sized, and we're a mid-sized AAA developer. And when I say AAA, to me what that means is we're striving for the highest production values in our games. Over the last 14 years, we've created and released 4 console titles. Kung Fu Chaos for the Xbox in 2003. Heavenly Sword for the PlayStation 3 in 2007. ENSLAVED Odyssey to the West for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in 2010. Thank you. And DMC Devil May Cry for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC in 2013. And over the course of creating these games, we've really developed 3 defining features of Ninja Theory as a studio, but also what our games offer. And they are hardcore melee combat gameplay, unique art visions that really stand out of the screen, and compelling character-led stories. And we've been fortunate enough over the games that we've made to increase our Metacritic rating each time, with DMC receiving an 86 Metacritic, which we're incredibly proud of. But even though we've created these 4 titles, we've created quality titles, we've delivered them on time, and we've developed these defining features that make our games stand out, we're faced with a really tough dilemma in the AAA retail market. And that is that we either have to go really big with our AAA games, or we have to go home and give up on AAA development completely. And that's because, really since the days of the PlayStation 1, the fixed price of a retail game at about £45 or $60 has meant that developers and games have to compete on their feature list and on the size of the games. So feature lists have been getting longer, games have been getting bigger. And what that has meant is that development costs have gone through the roof. So games cost a lot more to make. And if they cost a lot more to make, they have to sell lots and lots of units for them to be justified. And we're in a world now where games can sell 5 million units and still be deemed a failure. And the list of features that you see on this slide are the features that we've been told in our conversations with publishers that a AAA game at retail now needs to have in order to be viable, not a success, to just be viable. And this pressure on AAA games to be bigger and have bigger feature lists, to sell more units and to ultimately appeal to everyone, not just small audiences, has meant that as gamers, we've lost genres that we've loved. So genres like fighting games or survival horror games or stealth games, games that I love playing like Parappa the Rapper and Jet Set Radio, they can't be justified in a market where they have to sell in excess of 3 or 5 million units. So ultimately, they disappear, and so do the teams along with them. But there's an argument to say that you don't have to go really big with your games or go home and give up on AAA completely. And that's reinforced in the movie industry. where movies that have taken creative risks have been successful. And you can look at these two movies in 2010. Black Swan, which was an independent, small movie with a small budget for a small audience that took creative risks and made nearly as much money as Clash of the Titans, which was big budget, tried to appeal to everyone, but ultimately didn't really appeal to many people at all. And I think in games, we need our examples of Black Swan or Donnie Darko or King's Speech, movies that take creative risks and are giving the chance to succeed. We need that in games. And if you look at the games market now, the argument goes that you can either be an indie game, on one hand, which is small, highly creative for smaller audiences, or you can be retail, AAA, blockbuster, huge budget, trying to appeal to a mass audience. But nothing in between. You have to be one or the other. But this is the space that we call independent AAA. An independent AAA is about creating games with all of the quality of AAA games, but delivering them and creating them independently. It's about making games that we have creative ownership of, that we can create for a smaller audience of fans that are really engaged in what we do. We can distribute them digitally, so we can offer them at a lower price. So as an industry and as gamers, we can get lots more games, lots more genres, and lots more creativity in the games that are available for us to buy. And Ninja Theory's first game under the independent AAA banner is Hellblade.
Peggy 18.
So that was the trailer that we used to announce Hellblade at Gamescom in August. And Hellblade tells the story of our protagonist, Senua, and her personal journey into hell. The game is set in the times of Celts and Vikings, and although we're incredibly early on in development, we're only at the prototyping stage, it's safe to say that the game is about pushing Ninja Theory's defining features to the next level. Although we're developing this independently, we're not just trying to hit the levels of quality that we've achieved previously, we're trying to push them even further. So the game is going to be about brutal, uncompromising combat. It's going to be set in a vivid and twisted world. And it's going to tell a compelling character story, that when the player leaves the game, it's a story that they won't forget easily. And it's important to say that with Hellblade, we're not making this game for everyone. We're making this game for our fans and our supporters, And the aim is that if you loved DMC or Enslaved or Heavenly Sword, then you'll fall in love with Hellblade too. So here's the approach that we're taking. We create something that takes creative risks. We develop it independently, and we lose a lot of the baggage of the AAA retail model. We charge a lower price, and we create the game in direct partnership with our players. We engage players and build it directly for them. So what does this mean for Hellblade development, and how does it differ from our previous AAA games? Well, it's typical for a game to cost upwards of $100 million. On the last gen, our AAA games cost around $20 million, but between $20 and $100 million is what you could expect. With Hellblade, we're working with a tiny fraction of that budget. And with a tiny fraction of the budget, we have to work with a far smaller team. So a new-gen AAA game might have a team of 300 people working on it. Some new-gen AAA games have far in excess of that. A Ninja Theory AAA game, between 70 or 80 people. Hellblade, we've currently got a team of 12 people on the project, and that's going to increase to 15. And if you look at the structure of the team, you can see just how tight it is. We don't have teams of artists, of designers, of animators. We have one environment artist creating all of our worlds. We have one character artist creating all of our characters. One designer designing all of our combat. So this really is AAA, but on a budget. And when money is our constraint, we have to build a team that is hands-on and multi-talented, with a team that can work outside of their areas of specialization. We have to take creative risks. We don't have a long feature list, so the risks we take, they have to pay off. And we have to leverage in-house technology and expertise that we've built up from creating our previous games. And we have to look at creating homebrew solutions to problems that would normally cost a lot of money to solve. And we have to think smart in our approach to how we develop Hellblade so that we maintain quality, we push quality, but we make the best use of the resources that we put into it. And an example of that is in performance capture. Performance capture is really part of Ninja Theory's DNA. We've worked with the technology since Heavenly Sword, and we pioneered the use of performance capture in games. But performance capture is incredibly expensive. It gets you the best results. It gets you really high-quality cinematics that allow actors' performances to be brought through to characters in a believable, relatable way. So we're working with Vicon, who are a technology supplier in the performance capture market, to try and find a solution so that performance capture can be used in an independent game with a small team that has budget restrictions. So why do you care as players about independent AAA? Well, the way things are in AAA retail, the number of genres that can survive are reducing. And you'll end up in a situation where there's only a handful of AAA genres that can exist. Whereas in the independent AAA model, games can be made for smaller audiences, on smaller budgets. People can take more creative risks. So some of those genres that have died or are on the brink of extinction can survive under this model. And we'll also get new genres of games that we don't even know about yet. And one of the really great things about Hellblade and this approach is that we can choose how we share information about Hellblade with the community and with our fans. And we want to break away from the norm of drip-feeding information to players over a long period of time, only showing the game in a final, polished state. We want to open up development, draw back the curtain on how we make games to show you the game at every stage of the development process. And our aim is that if you follow our journey, you should feel like you've got a seat in the studio watching the game evolve in front of your eyes. So we've created Hellblade.com, and that's the hub of our open development. On there, we're sharing development diaries, tutorials, concept art, design documents, really as much as we possibly can without breaking any confidentiality agreements. But it's not just about following the journey. We want to engage players in the journey and get them to help us make a better game. So we're going to be inviting players into the studio to play the game and give us feedback. We're going to be asking players to play the game online to help us with balancing, so that ultimately we get a better game, but you get a better game at the end of the day as well. And we want to open up development to the future of games development, to students and universities and hobbyists. So we're going to be sharing Ninja Theory masterclasses on how we create games, giving people industry standard briefs so they can try this type of work at home. We're going to be giving one-on-one sessions at universities and lectures to try and teach the next generation what it's really like to create games in the industry. And the aim of this is that we create a next breed of developers that are not only great for us to bring into Ninja Theory, but can go off and create amazing games elsewhere on their own or at other studios. And since we've been talking about open development, we've only heard good news about it from our partners. And one of those is Epic Games, the creators of Unreal Engine 4, which we're building Hellblade with. And they're going to be working with us to work with universities, work with the Unreal community, to bring some of these masterclasses and tutorials out to as many people as possible. And we want to open development to other studios like ourselves who are facing the dilemma of either going big or going home. Other studios that are toying with the idea of going down the independent route. And it's important to say that when we're showing the development of Hellblade, it's warts and all. We're going to show the successes, which we hope they're going to be many, but we're also going to show the failures, of which I'm sure there's going to be many too. I think making-ofs and development diaries often focus on the positive elements of development and don't show you what it's really like. And the aim with this is that we're going to be as open and honest as possible, so that other developers can look at what we've done, they can learn from our successes, but they can also learn from our mistakes as well. So why do we want to be open in development? Well, one of the big reasons is that we can, for the first time. In a normal developer-publisher model, you're hidden away. You can't share as much as you would like to. So we're taking this opportunity to not just change the way that we make the game, but change the way that we talk to people about the game as well. And to be honest, it's a risk. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But it's really exciting to start on this journey and to be sharing assets at this early stage. It's fantastic for our team and for our staff to be sharing their work and getting the feedback from the community, even at this early stage. We want there to be a future for mid-sized developers like Ninja Theory, so that in the future there's more creative games, there's more creative studios, because that will really only result in a win-win situation for everyone. And we want to make games that we want to play and our fans want to play, not games that are made solely for a big mainstream audience. And we want to engage and build a community in an open and honest way. Not look back at development diaries or making-ofs with rose-tinted glasses. We want to be honest and open. And we want to build a bigger pool of talent for the future of games development as well. And we want to make our games better by engaging players early on in the development process, rather than getting feedback when ultimately it's too late. And the next video I'm going to show gives you a taste of the types of things that we're going to be sharing in open development. So this independent AAA approach isn't about world domination. It's about us trying to make the games that we want to create for an audience that want those games. And if we can make a decent living from it, if we can have a good time making these games and we can make games that other people enjoy, then I think everyone will benefit from that. So if you're interested in Hellblade.com and the development journey that we're going on with it, please do visit Hellblade.com. Please follow us on Twitter or on Facebook, or just get in touch. Let us know what you think about the approach and what you've seen so far, and give us your feedback. We want to hear from you. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you very much for that really interesting insight into Hellblade. We do have time for some questions, if anybody has some. If you do have a question, there's a lovely X there. If you make your way towards that, we'll get a microphone in front of your face, and you can ask away.
I was just wondering when we might expect to see gameplay footage of Hellblade.
Well, we started developing the game in March, and we're in the prototyping phase at the moment. And so what we're doing at the moment is really focusing on trying to answer a whole list of questions that we've got about various areas of the game. And that will involve creating parts of the world, playing around with combat design to try and get the right feel from it. So that's going to be a process that's going to take several months. And I think at the end of that, the plan at the moment is that we will have a period where we'll create part of the game that will be to a polished state. And it will be at that stage that I think we'll have something that we can show to you that's sort of really representative of gameplay. So I think we're looking at probably early next year sometime.
Awesome.
But if you follow development, we're going to be showing as much as possible. So you'll get a good feel as to when we're going to show stuff by watching the development diaries.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Hi.
Hi.
Ninja Theory's games typically maintain a lot of personality throughout with their characters, their gameplay. Everything's kind of built around that idea of characterization. What is it about Ninja Theory that kind of separates you from the rest kind of thing, the ones that are a bit more corporate-led, corporate-focused?
Well, I think for us, we do focus on quality, I think, rather than on quantity. But we have an aim of creating games that are an unforgettable journey for players, so that when you experience the story, you are fully engaged with it. And I think because we have a dedication to that, then everything that we do is driven towards that. So the use of performance capture is all about trying to really bring characters to life and to not compromise on that at all. I think in our worlds, what we try to do is treat the world as if it's a character. So we give it as much life and as much personality as an actual character in the game. And in Hellblade, the aim is that we will be making the world really feel alive. It's Senua's personal journey into hell. And I think if you played DMC and got the feeling of the type of movement and life in that world, then we'll be doing that again.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I noticed that you've put up on the job site in regards to sound designers for junior position and seniors, which I've applied for.
Yeah.
So for Hellblade, what kind of soundscape are you looking for? I mean, also, how are you going to bring that kind of creativity for the game as well?
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to be similar to DMC, or will there be like a different feel to it?
Yeah, I mean, as part of our prototyping sort of phase at the moment, we're exploring audio, and we are planning on doing some really interesting things with it. We're currently talking to some artists out there. We're currently exploring composition in-house as well, different styles. But I think, I mean, you used a good word there, which is soundscape, and I think soundscape is something that we are really looking at. So rather than the approach being of creating sort of a list of distinct tracks for the game, we want to create a soundscape that takes the player on a journey rather than being sort of distinct songs, as it were.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hiya. You mentioned before about making games for a small group of audience, and you mentioned, I think, briefly about digital, getting the games out digitally. I just wondered on, even at this very early stage, under the independent AAA banner, what are your ideas on distribution and what, like, in terms of coinciding with the retailers or anything like that?
Yeah.
Like how are you going to get it out there, basically?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big sort of catalysts for us being able to make a game in this way is digital distribution. I think the next-gen platforms, the digital distribution is only going to get bigger and bigger. And it means that we can create a game, we can deliver it, we can self-publish it for starters, and we can deliver it straight to players. We don't have to manufacture a disc, put it in a box, get it into a retailer. So for us at the moment, we're very much looking at Hellblade as being predominantly a digital game. But if opportunities come up for it to go into a box and go on a shelf somewhere, and that makes sense for us, and there's interest in it, then we're not saying no to that.
Just off the back of that, in terms of platforms, is it non-platform specific at this early stage, or are you just looking at PC, consoles?
We announced it at Gamescom at Sony's press conference, so at the moment it's coming to console first on PlayStation 4.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Got time for one last question.
Thank you. I was just wondering, having played DMC, what and which is more challenging, either doing, obviously this isn't that far through development, but doing a game like this, or taking on an existing IP and all the massive fan base, and developing that, which one's more and what's challenging?
Do you know what? I think the Hellblade project is more challenging, just because I don't think anyone's really done this before in this way. We've got 12 people in the team at the moment, and that's going to go up to 15. It's not going to go any higher than that. So, and we've set the standard that we need to match in the trailer. That trailer was made by those 12 people over a 10-week period, and we've set that standard now. So the challenge is for us to meet that standard with the game. So, and because this is the first time that we've done this, and I think anyone's really done this, it's the unknown.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Cool, thank you so much for coming along. Thanks to everyone watching on Twitch as well. Hopefully you'll join us back here at 2 o'clock. I think it's Lego Batman 3. But for now, can you have a round of applause, please, for Dominic?
Thank you.